Hi, everybody. My name is Patrick Arch. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Uh, Troy and I met 4 years ago in a Miami Hurricanes chat group. We went to three Miami pit games together. We went to a basketball game, two football games, and we talked almost every day for 4 years. And if we didn't talk, we made up for it the next day. Troy was a night owl, so I'm an early bird. I'm in bed by 10 o'clock every night, so it wasn't unordinary to get text messages in the morning talking about the Miami Hurricanes, asking about my family, talking about what he bought lately, how am I doing. So for the past 2 weeks, it's been really rough. I wake up every single morning and I think that there's going to be a text message there from Troy, and I just hope and pray that every single morning that there's one more text message that I could talk to him again. Troy's love for his family, friends, dogs, and his continuous fight to never quit will be with me forever. Troy's sense of humor. When we were in a room, he was half my size, but he always had the biggest heart in the room. And he was bigger than me in so many ways. Forever, when I go to a Miami pit game, there will always be an empty seat next to me, and that will be for Troy. He will always be with me. He will always be with my lovely wife and my two kids that Troy treated like they were his niece and nephew. Michelle, as a new parent, as a 1 and a 3-year-old kid, you've taught me a lot. You've taught me your loving devotion, your relentless care for your child is something that will always stick with me for the rest of my life and my wife's life. And I thank you. And I thank Troy for his friendship. I don't know many of you, and I thank you too for everything. And I miss you, buddy. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Hey there, friends and family of Troy. For those who don't know me, my name's Aaron. I'm his cousin. But growing up, he was more like my brother. When he would come to visit, I don't think we stopped laughing. I remember when we rescued some baby deer and he got to feed them, and they went right up to him. It's like, it was almost like they could sense a good soul. He had so much joy on his face at that point. I remember when we were playing softball, he never hesitated to go out and play catch with us or hit the ball around. One time, he hit the ball really hard, and it went over my dad's shop, and me and my sister and Troy all went in the house laughing. I laughed so hard. Troy had a sense of humor. Hell of a sense of humor. You know, he always seemed to be enjoying life, and I always looked up to that. It wasn't until years later that I found out he was sick. I would have never guessed. He never showed it. He never stopped going. He never took a single moment for granted. He had half the time that most of us have to fulfill a life, and he went above and beyond. Because I know that everyone watching this right now was touched by him in some way. He taught us to not take life for granted, and I never will. I miss him. I love him. And I appreciate everything that he ever did for me. 3 minutes isn't enough to go into all that. I love you, bro. Fly high. Breathe.
All right, so I have a story that at the time wasn't funny, but now that I've let the cat out of the bag with Michelle last week, looking back on it, it's a little funny. So this was almost 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago. Troy had recently purchased a car from Katy Perry that wasn't working, and him and Brian had worked on it and fixed it up, got it running. So before we had to go to work that night at Chet's, he wanted to go test it out, make sure everything was running good. So we were driving around, and Troy was speeding down the street like we shouldn't have been doing. But a truck pulled out of a stop sign, and we just slammed on brakes and slammed into the truck. Had to go to the hospital, but nothing crazy. But like I said, the reason why it's funny now is because we told everybody that the guy pulled out in front of us, and we weren't speeding, but we were. And Michelle never knew that until last week. So it's something that we never spilled the beans on until now. And we shared a laugh in it, so that was good. But yeah, good times.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I hope you can hear me okay. My first memory of Troy was in high school. I believe I was a freshman and he was a senior. I actually had a slight crush on him at one point, and but being a senior, he was much older back then in my eyes, with me being a freshman. He, I think we had journalism together, if I remember correctly. But the best memories were definitely when he was friends with Bobby and Scott, and we used to party at their house all the time. We used to throw parties at my mom's house all the time. Those were definitely the best memories of my life, I would say. Very precious to me. Troy will be very missed. I wish we can go back to those days more than anything.
So my very favorite memory of Troy. There are a lot of great memories. We had so many good times when we were young. We hung out at the beach a lot. We partied. We went to New Orleans several times, had a lot of fun there. We went to spring break in Tennessee, which was awesome. But I would say my very favorite memory is probably when we went to Atlanta. This was all the way back in 2005. We were young. We were like 20, 21, 19 maybe. I can't really remember. So we went to see a band called Bayside play, which they were a great band. And crazy thing is, I just found out that they are having a show in the same exact place called the Masquerade on the 30th, which I feel like I'm supposed to go see that show, so I might try to do it. But that night, we were young and we had to rent a hotel room. It was late. We needed somewhere to stay, but I guess you have to be a certain age to rent a hotel. I think it was like 24. So places didn't want to rent us a place. We ended up finding a place kind of in the ghetto. This chick at the counter decided she would rent us a room, and that was cool. A little bit later in the night, we walked out the door, I think, to get something out of the Troy's Explorer, and then we see the lady underneath the stairs buying some drugs. So that was pretty entertaining. But yeah, I got this shirt that night. It's a tribute to their drummer who had passed away. I've got the ticket from the show that night. It's one of my prized possessions. I'd like to look at that pretty frequently. It was a great time, and I'd love to go back to it and be able to do it again. And if I can make it to the show on the 30th, it will kind of feel like I'm going back to that times. I know Troy and Bobby, they'll be with me in spirit. And yeah, I love Troy. I miss him, and I wish he'd be there in person, but I know he'll still be there with me.
Hey Troy, so this is for you. I am just letting you know how much I love you. from when we were like 12 and 13, and me and Bobby would come strolling past the yard on the way to the country market. You would throw stuff at us from your yard, and we would find things all over wherever the woods, whatever, and throw things back at you. We were always yelling at each other, and then you and Bobby would fight, and then you and Bobby became best friends, and the rest is history. I feel blessed to have known you and to have been a part of your life all this time. Um, I just, I feel blessed for the whole time. And I am so happy that I got to come to Pittsburgh and see you. Just showing up there and you guys coming to pick me up. And it was just so fun, like all the restaurants that we went to and all the food that you wanted to show me. You wanted to eat everywhere, and it was the best because that's my favorite thing too. So I just had so much fun, and I'm so glad we got to have all those memories together, going on the boat, going up the Duncan Incline, just all the different things. I just enjoy all those memories so much, and I just love you so much, and that's it. I love you.
Whew. What does someone say about someone who is fearless? Mm. My name's Bree. I am a friend of Troy's from his hometown here in Milton, and Troy, it's that he was fearless. We kind of knew it was inevitable, but even up until his last few days, I think he always assumed that he would have more time. And we did too. There were so many times where we thought it would be the last time we talked to him. So I don't think anyone was ever really ready. I think that if I could tell about Troy, it's that he had the heart of a warrior. There was nothing he couldn't do um, when it came to love. And he loved a lot of things: shoes, cars, food. God, he loved food, football. Um, and I think that if he were with us today, or if he could tell us something, it'd be to don't cry, fucker. Celebrate my life. Uh, think about the good stuff, all the good memories. And that's what I'll plan to do. Love you. Miss you, Troy.